and I wouldn't take more time of you guys. That is why actually I would like to welcome our teammate, Alena Borykava. She's a great professional, actually taking the position of senior user experience designer at Godel, and as well someone I would definitely call an ambassador of sustainability. So, Alena, we're glad to have you with us today. And would you be able to give us a glimpse, understanding of sustainability and sustainability in design?
Yes, sure. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. Yes, my name is Alena, and in IT, I already have been working for the 6 years, and in Godel, I work already 5 years. It will be in March, 5 years. 3 years I have in design. Before that, I worked as software engineer. So I have like technical background. Right now, I'm based in Georgia, in lovely Batumi. It's already 7 p.m. for me, but it's okay. Like it's evening, it's like very homey for me. I have you and a cup of tea. And yeah, let me know, where are you right now? What do you do? Because I know there are some guests here, external. Yeah, tell in the chat, what do you do? And where are you?
So I'm taking care of the chat. We have front-ender from Warsaw, full stack from Wrocław, Manchester, UK is here also, design from Minsk, San Francisco, data engineer.
Oh
wow.
my God.
Yeah, GS Warsaw, again, Manchester, we have QA from Dubai. Wow. And of course, we can't imagine our meetups without Java from Katowice, Batumi, mobile iOS, Java developer from Sofia, Warsaw, JavaScript, Minsk, PHP, sorry, Krakow, iOS, Białystok, Poznań. The geography is crazy.
Okay, yeah, so welcome. I'm very happy to see you all here. And so yeah, let's get started. This is my agenda, and today we will talk about that love is in the air. But by love, I mean sustainability, because, you know, when I just have started to learn about it, it becomes like it is everywhere. It is in my social media, in my books, in my some brands which I use, and it's really like everywhere. So like sustainability is in the air, and it is right now. It's time for everyone speaks about that. We will talk what is sustainability from the theory, and we will talk about sustainable web design. And it's not only about web, it's just about like, I mean, not about the design, but at all like sustainability for the web. And the rest of the content, which I don't know where should I put, so it will go to the rest of the content. Yeah, so sustainability is like right now it used everywhere, and let's get started from the food. So I found the label on some products that it is sustainable. The right picture is mine, the left one is from one of my colleagues. He's probably here. Yeah, so it like sustainably sourced cacao, it says, and it means like those companies, they take care about like cacao, yeah, about their brand, and they take care about people who work there. They respect the people, labor, and they don't use chemicals, and yeah, so on. let's go. So the next one is perfume and beauty. So Prada has their new line in the brand, and they have created the big bottle and the smallest one, so you can refill the smallest one when it will be ended, and that is how you can save 29% of glass, 67% of metal, and 46% of plastic, and yeah, so on. And it's not only like about only these brands. So there are a huge amount of brands who suggest options of refilling, or you, if your perfume was ended, you can go to the shop and give them your empty bottle so they can reuse it again. And on the right side, we see the Body Shop brand. It's really nice. I have it in Batumi and I love it. So there you can actually also go with your own bottle, and they have shops around the world, so you can find them in, I guess, in our locations, except of Belarus, I guess, unfortunately. Yeah, so the founder is really a very interesting lady. Her name is Anita Redick. And yeah, it was to check her, and yeah, she has a lot of books, by the way, but let's go. So now we have traveling, and so we have an option of travel sustainable. So now you can go to the booking.com and find some hotels who support these sustainable movements, and you can read more about what do they do, and about some what do they mean by that. So they, for example, they don't use single-use plastic for the water bottles and so on. They try to save water, energy, nature, support local communities. So this is like how sustainability traveling works. And so now you have an option of sustainable traveling. Yes, for the fashion, yeah, there are a lot of high fashion brands talk about it as well. And there is an example of Eco Elf, and they have only recycled fabrics. For example, they make fabrics from the used coffee grounds, for the tires, from the plastic, and so on. So it's really nice way to, like to use material again, and do not create a waste more than it is right now. Finance, and so we have a plastic bank, and so the idea of this bank, you can go to the beach and collect plastic there, and after that you can go to that bank and give them plastic, and they will give you some real money. And after that, that bank can sell plastic to some businesses who use this plastic for something else, and those businesses, they can put, on their brand values that they use plastic from the ocean, and it's nice. Yeah, if it's true. We have also a sustainable finance taxonomy for Georgia. I have found this program in 2022, like this year. So they have special taxes for businesses who support sustainable movements. And yeah, biochemistry, and there is an example of vegan leather. It was created by chemists and biologists in the laboratory. So they this way they try to save animals and nature. They will sell this vegan leather to the fashion designers, which will create some clothes, bags, and so on from this leather. And yeah, about the fashion designers. So there is an example of Tuba Ergin. She's from Turkey, and a month ago she has a fashion week. It was in the World Fashion Week, yeah, and she decided to demonstrate her collection in the solar field, like around solar batteries, and yeah, so she positioned herself as sustainable designer, and each piece of her clothes was made with this idea in mind. Yeah, and her fabrics, they are sustainable and so on. Yeah, so we have it in universities as well. I tried to find sustainability in University of Cambridge, and I have found a lot of programs there. And there is just one example of business sustainability management where you can, like, you know, if you have a business and you want to make it sustainable, so this program is about that. So how to turn your business to the sustainable movement. Yeah, so LinkedIn. I have tried to find some, yeah, so if you can see here, sustainability team lead in the United Kingdom. And yeah, I have found 2,410 results, and they have sustainability either in the description or in the title or in the name of the company. Yeah, so, and just for you to compare, I was trying to find user experience designer in the United Kingdom, and it has 2,312 results, so 100 less. So it's really worth to talk about sustainability because it's everywhere. Yeah, and we came to the theory part. So this is the definition from the Wikipedia, and you can follow that link. Unfortunately, there is no, like, you know, specific definition because it may vary from literature, from like book to book. Yeah, but it has like a common idea of that sustainability aims for humans to safely coexist on Earth, and it has 3 dimensions: environmental, economy, and social. So like we have economy, environment, and society, and sustainability is somewhere between 3 of them. Yeah, so it takes care not only like business and profit of this business, but it also takes care about the profit and planet and people. Yeah. So we have sustainable development goals in the United Nations, and it's kind of a global problems which we try to solve, and it has 17 goals here, and you can check them out on their website. So each of these goal, it has a description and which actions United Nations suggest to do. Yeah, so there are like some examples like no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, some clean water, affordable and clean energy, which we will talk about today, climate action, life below water, life on land, and so on. Yes, and yeah, so as I mentioned, sustainability is connected to the economy, and actually I hated economy in my university, but if they used these kind of images, I would love it, because it's kind of clear what's going on. So here we have 3 models of economy. The first one is linear economy, and mostly we have it right now. It means like we buy a product, we use it, and we waste it. And this is like what we have right now, and it doesn't work actually, because now we have climate problems, we have biodiversity loss, we have huge economy problems, like huge gap between poor and rich. We have some educational problems, poverty, hunger, and a lot of it. Yeah, so that is why we have to change it. And we have the next one, recycling economy, but still we have waste. And yeah, so waste is a treasure, and for something new, and we have to make it like in a closed loop, as it has in circular economy model. So when the end is the new beginning of something else, it's actually what we have in the nature. If you will notice, like we don't have waste in nature, like just everything is needed is yeah. So that is how we also have to, like, live our life, that everything is needed, there is no waste. And yeah, if we have a waste, it's not a waste, it's a new beginning for something else. Yeah. And in sustainability, we have 3R rules: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So this is kind of a law in sustainability. So this is how we can reuse as much as we can all, I don't know, for example, our plastic bags, or recycle them. Yeah. So yeah, so I also wanted to mention about big corporation company. This company, they support sustainability movements for the businesses, yes, and the big corporation, the name goes from the be the change. So yeah, and if you have a business and you want to be sustainable and you want to get an official certificate about that, you can go to the big corporation and ask them for a certificate, and they will, for each business, the rules could be different. If you have some online store, or if you have some like business like tea, for example, you sell tea, so it could be different there. But anyway, so you can go to them and have a certificate. I want to show you. So for example, if you want to support sustainable businesses, and for example you want to buy a tea, yeah, and actually, so we can see that there is something. We also can filter it by the location. Let's take United Kingdom, for example. Done. And so you can see there are some brands, and you can choose from them. And this is how you can support this movement. On these brand pages, you can see the brand website, and you can go to this site and order for some products. There is, oh, okay. Because I haven't tested this one brand actually, but yeah, it works. Yeah, so and you can see that they have an icon that they have been certificate they've got B certification, and actually it is a link to the site which I have showed you. So this is how they protect themselves, that not anyone can put just B certificate, this like icon of this company. Yeah, so let's go. To the next, yes. So, what produces the most carbon emission? And by the Our World in Data organization, it says that energy is the most consuming, and of course, there is. In energy, we have transport, we have energy use in buildings, in industry, and so on. But our internet is also there, and internet consumes a lot of energy, and if the internet was a country, it would be the seventh largest polluter, and this number, not this number, but the amount of carbon emission which internet produces, it only grows. So we have to think about how we can do this greener, in a better way, because each of us use internet, and we work on it. So we can have an impact on it. So yes, sustainability in web and in web design. Let's just start from a small question. How do you think, guys, how many of customers will wait no more than 3 seconds for a web page to render? And if it was longer, they will just leave the page. Let us know in the chat. So how many?
Kirill think it's 80%.
Wow.
Is this a lot or it's okay? There are also options like 99%.
99, oh my God.
70, we go
70.
less. Then we have a bet for 98%.
98, oh my God,
95,
really?
80. The Kate shared with us like 50%. And then we have options like 97%, 40%. I mean, Alena, choose.
Okay. Okay, who said 40? It was 40.
It was Dennis Kargin.
Oh, Dennis, you are really expert. Yes, so this point was about, sustainability, and it's not only about like sustainability, it is about accessibility as well, because how many, like the weight of the page will depends like within the speed. It is like on the same line. So if the weight is larger, so we will weight more. So that is why it is important to make it accessible and lighter, and that is how we can work on sustainability. And let's take a look more. So let's talk about the content of the web page. So the median web page by content type, it says that almost like more than the half, it's almost 70% it goes for the visual content, for the images and videos. After that, it goes to the GS, CSS, and HTML. So that is why it is important for us to work on images and visual content, because it is most what take weight for the web page, and that is why it takes energy. And I will highly recommend for each of us to watch this The Joy of Optimizing Images talk by Una. It's really fun, and it was so exciting for me to watch it. If you will have some time, but it's really fun. I laugh a lot. According to the images, we have a lot of formats for the images, and that is why it is important for us to understand which one and where we should use it. Yes, and this is an example of little tree in different formats, and this is like the image is the same, but it has different weight because of the format. So yeah, this is an example of why we should understand those formats and use it in the right way. And this is an example of PNG8 and PNG24. Yeah, so if you, the quality isn't the best one, but I will tell you that PNG8 for this image, it has 33 kilobytes, but for PNG24, it has almost 300 kilobytes. So in 10 times the difference. Yeah, so if it if this image like the PNG8, it's best for small graphics, icons, maybe, or simple graphic images. Yeah. And the PNG24, it's better for the web photos or images, and yeah, so on. Yeah, so for the typography, this is an example of InterUI, and it has 2,500 clips and 18 styles like regular italic, regular bold, and so on. And zip file for this font, it has the size 1.8 megabytes, and actually, yeah, sometimes we don't really need all of it. Yeah, so maybe it works, do not include in our project those styles which we don't use, those glyphs, like symbols which we don't use. Yeah, so I saw an example, by the way, where some guys just from after the optimization of this font file, instead of 1.8 megabytes, they just have 9 kilobytes. It's the huge amount of difference. It's almost 97% of like optimization, the file. Yeah, so that is why you can use variable fonts, and so it is an open type font, and it usually has just one font file in the font, yeah, where you can manage the weight, some curves, and yeah, and all those characteristics just on fly on the in the CSS file, yeah. And yeah, so it's you can check it out. Yes, and also we have programming languages. Yeah, and we have them, yeah, also some programming languages. They are more energy consuming, such as Ruby, Python, and Perl. And this image is taken from the book. And yeah, I don't want you to say if you're a Python developer, like, I don't want to support this language, I will quit my job and learn something new. No, it's not about that, because it makes sense why they use so many energy, because probably they have such tasks as machine learning, some regular expressions, and yeah, so maybe that is why they consume more energy than just C++. But yeah, I just want for you to be aware of like what you do, and which language do you use for what you do. Yes, and the next example of text-only versions websites. So it was in 2016, there was a huge hurricane which called Irma, and it was happened in South Florida. So people couldn't access to the very critical information. What should they do? Where should they go? Because it was the connection was really limited, and they just could not open the web page. It was a really like crisis situation, and yeah, so that is why now CNN has text-only version for their website. They are streaming news, so it is important for their users to have an access in critical situation. And this is like, you know, the main one of the main characteristic about sustainability, to make it resilient, to make it, you know, for each crisis situation in the world to be accessible. Yeah, because nowadays it is really important for us. It could be different situations. And yeah, one more example from the e-commerce, which I wanted to show you. I'm sorry that it is in Russian. Yeah, but the point not here. Like, so if you will be able to, like, to see they use a lot of images here, and maybe it doesn't like make sense to see so many images. Yeah, because every image has an impact. And yeah, so we can actually like use lazy loadings for some videos. Yes, and about like to conclusion on, you know, it's really hard to put all the ideas and solutions for every like solution, yeah, what we can do. So in conclusion, I want to say that we can simplify our users' journeys, and if you have, I don't know, for example, 5 steps in your journey to make a purchase or like to do something, yeah, maybe we can do it in just 3 steps. Yeah, so think about it, that to not to open a new page. Try to use renewable energy for hosting your website. It also makes sense. Yeah, so maybe we actually not like all the time have control about it, but we at least can speak to the client, or yeah, do our best. Make services accessible and resilient to the like a lot of crisis situation in the world. Take care about every decision you make, because, you know, I was shocked actually, but because even colors make impact on the page weight and on the energy which you take. By the way, the white color is the most consuming one, because it has 100% brightness. Yeah, so the next advice is use lazy loading, and forget about infinitive scrolls, and also send emails carefully, because each email, it has a huge weight actually. And yeah, when I realized that, you know, it was a good motivation to unsubscribe from all, you know, letters which I don't really need. Yeah, the next advice is do not mislead users to a new page. So be careful what you like say. Like, for example, if you have a link to a, let's say, new collection, but it leads us to the, I don't know, some different page, and about us, for example, yeah, and user will see that it doesn't like do what it says, and they will just quit this page. And yeah, but the energy was wasted already. Yeah, and optimize visual content. Yeah. Also, I have found an interesting tool, so you can also test your website. Let's do it together. I want to show you. Let me just find an example. Gov UK. Wait a a second. Yeah. Wait a second, I will open it again. So you can put a link to your website here and submit, and let's wait a bit when it will be analyzed. So it says about the first visit and how many carbon emission was created. The size of this page, it will say if it is a return visit because we have a cache, and some information will be there. And it will say overall score that the government UK web page is rated as amazing. So if you know your monthly visits, you can put it here, and if you have those numbers, you can also put it here, and you will see how many grams per month of carbon emission you have. And and you will even see that this is equivalent to driving 0.59 miles in a Tesla, or watching 1 hour of Netflix, and it will need 1 tree in a year to offset the CO2. And it also will have some page breakdown about the fonts, how many requests it made, the size, and so you can see how many CO2 was generated for the images. And so the government UK, it's a great example for the about the footprint. So it has some ratings as well. Let's go back.
Alena, sorry to interrupt, but actually there's a comment in the chat from Nick Sachnowski. He'd like to test with this website, godotechnologies.com.
Oh my god. Okay, let's do. Why not? Let me copy the link. There is no link. Because I have a panel here from the Zoom and I can't see. Okay, now I see
godotech.com.
Test another. It's interesting to take a look.
The moment of truth. But to be honest, I heard that design division is working on the new version. So guys, this is a work in progress. Don't judge us.
It's loading.
It's very interesting to see what's the outcome.
Interesting. Is it a good sign that it takes time or no?
Who knows? You never know. Maybe we should leave it, not commenting.
So it's rated as bad. So we have to work on it, because it per month it will be equal to watching 7 hours of Netflix in HD, and so it's interesting.
Good to know.
By the way, images. So the most consuming one, images and scripts. Yes, send it. Cool. So let's go back to the presentation. And It's actually one of the most last slides. I want to recommend you what to read. The first one book it's called Sustainable Web Design, and the author is Tom Greenwood. And it's nice to read. It's mostly only theory there, but it's really good explained with, even if it's technical, and if you don't have technical background, you will understand everything. The next one, it's called Seatopia, How Food Can Save the World, and it's talk about how food, like how we build our life around the food, and how our food can actually impact the world. And it's fun to read, it's easy to read, yeah, so it was really exciting and interesting. And the last one is Sustainability is New Advantage. It's mostly for the leadership and for those people who has businesses and they want, to get some experience from Peter, because he has it. So, and there you can learn how to switch your business, even like either just risky, like, now I want to be sustainable 100% and that's it, or step by step, like within the team and so on. So yeah, it's really amazing, this one. And also, I want to talk about the Victor Papanek. He was born in Australia, so he is a designer and educator, and he has a book, Design for the Real World, and he is the first one probably who has started to talk about design and ecology, how design can impact the world. And the book is really very nice, and he's one of the founder of sustainability. So yeah, I have to mention him. And that's it. Thank you so much for coming, for your time, for your questions, for being active. I'm really happy to see so many people here. And you can follow me on Instagram. I sometimes post there something about sustainability, and it is my hashtag TBC sustainability. So if you have any questions, ask in the chat or unmute yourself, or you can also DM me, go to direct messages, and whatever.
Thank you, Alena. Well done. I'm sure our guests enjoyed the presentation as much as I enjoyed. I loved all the examples from the normal, our life, also like great tips how to make it sustainable, because there's a lot of buzz, but the tips are like relevant. Actually, we have one question regarding this website, which made everyone very interested in. So the question is from Roman Samusev about the bacon. I mean, does visiting this site leads to reducing of CO2?
So it is a tool for mostly for devs, for designers, for the product owners, and everyone else who is interested. And so this is how you can understand what your site do, and if you can improve it. And it's not always about the sustainability, it's also about the accessibility, and how even by improving the sustainability, we can make it accessible for everyone else. I guess it helps a lot.
Thank you, Alena. So we have the raised hand from Kate. Please go on.
Hi, thank you, Alena, for this presentation. And I wanted to ask about on what side should we put our efforts to improve on. Should it be like front end, like optimizing images, or we need to admit that sooner we will go to IR, VR, metaverse, and there will be even more images, and we need to think more about how to optimize servers, how to optimize other part of development.
Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you. I guess the solution will be in different directions. So we have to take care about the server side, about where do we host our application. It also we should work on the images. We should work on the design, on the code as well, and which libraries do we include in the project. So every part of the project will be, I guess, important. And because I can't say that, for example, if we will just work on the design and the rest isn't, like, we don't need to work on the rest of the parts of the application. So multiple solutions.
Thank you a lot.
Thanks a lot. We have some minutes, so maybe any other questions? While you've been talking, I thought if we have here Python development guys, I hope they were not in shock after one of your stats.
Yeah, I was hoping to.
So, no question. Yeah, just a minute, maybe. Accidentally, someone has something. While we'll give people a couple of minutes to think, Alena, I wanted to ask you, what is your personal opinion? As for now, is it expensive to be a sustainable business and also to maintain a sustainable lifestyle? What do you think?
It depends, actually. I have heard about a lot of examples who has circular economy inside, and they are very successful, and they are almost one in the world who do this, and people support them a lot. And and even without people support, they really it works for them. But it depends from about your industry and your sphere. So it could be really different. It depends on the strategy which you use to be sustainable. For the just in life to be sustainable, it's even cheaper than everything else, because you reuse, repair, recycle, and it's cheaper.
Thank you. And again, Kate?
Hi, Alena. You mentioned that there is some companies that have circular economy. Do you have an examples to share?
I forgot the exact name, to be honest.
What the business produces?
They produced building materials for the buildings. And they, for example, they use water for the material, but after that, that water they clean it with some molecules. And you can drink that water. So it's it was their great side of the business, that they don't have any waste.
Is it based in Switzerland?
What?
Is it based in Switzerland?
I don't remember. Sorry, I don't remember.
I'm quite sure that there are some businesses in Switzerland that have.
Yeah, maybe.